Welcome to Connections. Wow, what a show today. First on my far left we have Joy Smith from FieldHaven. And who is your guest, Joy?
This is Stella Louise Smith, a former FieldHaven graduate adopted by myself.
Well, I'm so glad you brought Stella along, and she's so well behaved. And then to my immediate left I have new guest, Nikki Salone.
Correct.
With beautiful modest art here. I mean, I can barely see this. Wow, thank you for being bold, because this is outstanding. We're loving it here. So this is an ideal show for Connections, because art is in all our lives and should be, and animals as well. So I'd love to see everybody have at least one or more pets in their life. So we'll start a little bit with Joy, and you can tell us a little bit about what your day is like in Animal Kingdom.
Well, at FieldHaven Feline Rescue, we have a shelter on our property, and we just finished a brand new shelter about a year and a half ago, and we can house about 30 to 35 cats at the shelter, and then usually about 30 cats out in foster care as well. And what we do is we bring the cats in, we prepare them for adoption by spaying and neutering, microchipping, vaccinating, and all their medical care. And then they're put up for adoption, and we find great homes. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow night we're having a great event called Free Cat Friday, where we are from 5 to 8 p.m. tomorrow night. We are waiving adoption fees. And it's a great opportunity to get a super pet and have a new family member, and they come spayed, neutered, vaccinated, microchipped, basically, you know, everything you need to take your kitty home and start their new life with you. We also have a very active, what we call a SNAP program, which is Spay Neuter Assistance Program, which is a low and no cost spay and neuter program for the community of Lincoln and surrounding communities, where we will actually pay for the spay and neuter of cats. And we do about 800 cats a year in the community of Lincoln and surrounding areas. So we're very proud of that program. And we do about 400 adoptions a year of cats and kittens.
Well, you have your hands full, and I see Stella is just going to take a nap. So obviously she's very relaxed at the ACTV set here. So you go, Stella. We'll let you relax while we move over to the artist, Nikki Salone. So nice of you to come from Sacramento with all your beautiful art. And congratulations, because I understand you've done some things for the SPCA.
Correct, I have.
Exciting.
I love to donate to as many nonprofits and animal rescue organizations that I can. The SPCA has been one that I've done the most work for. So this one was for their annual Raining Cats and Dogs Gala back in 2009, and they auctioned it off for at their live auction during the event. And I believe this one raised $4,000 for them, and with 100% of the proceeds going to them. And I've done the artwork for them 5 years in a row.
That's exciting. We're going to put you on the spot here. That's what we do at ACTV. We put you on the spot because we're going to be having a fundraiser, and we're going to be calling on you.
Oh, great. I would love to help.
You have a wonderful heart, as you both do, and so it's just great to make these connections. Now, you are a pet portraiturist?
Correct.
Great, got that word out. So if Bill wants to have a picture of his dog, I think it's a pretty good sized dog, Bill would give you a photograph, or what?
Yes, I work from as many photos as possible, and when I can meet them, if they're local or still living, then I love to meet the animals to get a better sense of their personality. But sometimes I can't, so the more photos and the more stories, the better. And the more I know about a pet, the easier I can capture their personality on the canvas.
Now, I see that our big dog here is wearing a medal down here, or is he in the police force?
Yes, this is Anna. She was a search and rescue dog. She was one of the first to be certified by the National Search Dog Foundation. The city of Sacramento commissioned me to paint her for Fire Captain Rick Lee after she had passed away. And Anna was deployed to 9/11 over to Ground Zero and Hurricane Katrina and the Oklahoma City bombings, and she was a true hero through and through, and it was an honor to be able to paint her. And
wonderful.
This is actually just a reproduction of her original painting.
Okay, now you've got a wonderful website, so they're going to put it on the screen, but would you share that, because that should be seen by everybody?
Yes, my website is my name, NikkiSalone.com. And you can view many of my paintings there, and all my contact information is there, and a little bit about the commission process as well.
Well, we're into horses lately. I love horses. I love all animals that are friendly. And I just can't get enough of the Western. And we have Western furniture here today, which we're delighted with. The Wine Barrel guys have brought this in, and I think it's great. What do you guys think?
It is. It's great.
Isn't it beautiful?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Been admiring it.
Great. They love admirers. Artists love admirers, but what they love most of all is money. So go over and Cat's Country Corner, 945. 25, whatever, something 5. It's right across from the town square. You can't miss it. You can go over and have a nice ice cold yogurt and walk around a bit even though it's hot. It's just so refreshing. Then you go into Cat Store, see this beautiful furniture. They have accessories. I think they have wine bottle holders, and they have this real nice arch that has the candles on it. And bistro table, let's see, do we have one in here? It's behind us buried, but go over there and take a look around, and we're going to help the Wine Barrel guys also because they are very creative, but they're stuck in their shop with all this wood flying, so to come up with some clever names for them. So feel free to email at ACTV here and give us your ideas, whatever. So we love talent, we love animals, and we love you guys for sharing. So first time on TV for both of you?
I've been on several times. I think this is Stella's first time. She's done a radio interview before, but I've been on several times.
Very relaxed.
She is. She's really taken this all in stride. She's used to, she travels with me a lot. She's a real ambassador for FieldHaven.
And how does she do on that leash?
She, well, you know, it works great if we lead where she wants to go.
Yes, well, you know, there's a saying that cats look down at us, and dogs look up at us, and pigs look directly at us. So you know, we all make our choices. I think we can be judged by the animals that we have. Nikki, do you have any pets?
I do. I have 2 dogs and a 19-year-old nephew that lives with me.
Okay, yes, obviously the high maintenance there. Okay, now what's going on in your creative life? Any more commissions that you're working on?
Yes, currently I have about 10 paintings commissioned ahead of me.
Oh.
And I just started an open edition reproduction of this painting right here, which is being sold exclusively at the Empty Attic in Sacramento. And I'm also working on this painting. This is a work in progress of a mountain gorilla named Mizano who was killed by a poacher last year in Uganda. So my goal with that painting is to complete it, make reproductions of it with a portion of the proceeds going to organizations to keep the mountain gorillas alive in Uganda and Rwanda.
So your span, tell us the most interesting request you've ever had. A gorilla is certainly a stretch. Have you had anything more bizarre?
That's one just for fun. That my own idea there. The most interesting painting was probably when this couple came to me and said, I have a 4 by 13 foot art niche in my home, 13 feet high, and I would like you to paint a cougar.
Wow.
So to fill it. So I custom built this 4 by 13 foot canvas, popped it in the back of my truck, barely fit, drove it over to my mom's house, popped it up against the back of her house in her backyard, rented scaffolding, and painted it within a week. So it was the hottest week in August back in, I think it was 2006. And it was like 110 degrees plus that entire week. And I couldn't see the painting. You know, the nose on this painting was this wide. Oh, so I'd have to climb down the scaffolding, step back in the backyard, look at it, look at the top, look at the bottom, because it was a 2-level scaffolding, and then climb back on and finish it.
Well, how are you going to top that?
I don't know. I had to rent a U-Haul to transport it once it was finished.
We have the Olympics going on. I would say you're a painter of the Olympics, definitely. So you're having a great deal of fun because you started how long ago?
I started in 2004 officially. Okay. So 8 years ago I started my business. My very first pet portraits were when I was still in college, and they were just a Christmas gift from my mom. And so I had no idea that they would turn into this. I mean, I was just a poor college student, and needed to give something to my mom for Christmas.
So you have an in-house studio then?
Correct.
So you basically, do you have people come to your home? How does that work?
Some of my clients do come to their home to pick up their paintings, but most of the time I meet people at coffee shops
Sure.
or at their house to discuss composition and size and to meet the animals.
And how long have you had that website?
I have had my website for 8 years.
Now this is a website
And it's a work in progress.
It's a very good website. So the gentlemen that are creating here have to understand that we are in the technological age. So like it or not, you need to go there because so many of us do not leave home, and so they're just on their computer all the time.
Right.
And you don't have to. So get some friends to help you or do a trade or whatever, because you know, not to do that is to miss out. So we have people here that would be willing to help you. I think Paula has generously offered to perhaps do something for you. So take advantage, because this is a big challenge for you, and you have a lot invested. So Nikki will tell you, what would you do without your website?
Oh, I don't know. I get clients from all over the country too. So I mean, I imagine these would be fairly expensive to ship, but they're unique enough where people would want them and would order them, I imagine.
Now, how do you do, Joy, with your website? Are people giving you hits there?
Absolutely. Our website, our Facebook page, our email newsletters, they are all avenues for us to reach out to people, not only for adopting, but for donations. We're a private nonprofit. We get no funds from cities, county, state, or anybody. We're funded totally by fundraisers and private donations. So it's a way for us to reach out, and we have donors that are from even other countries. I mean,
Nice.
I know we have one donor, I know it's in Australia, that lives in Australia. We've got many donors on the East Coast. You know, just being able to reach out. Our Facebook page is very popular, and we work hard. It's always a challenge to try and keep the Facebook page updated with new and fresh content, but we do keep in touch with our audience that way. Our website is very well liked. As a matter of fact, we just recently went to a seminar that was put on by Petco Foundation, and we were so proud when they brought up our website as an example of an excellent website for a shelter or a rescue. And one of the things that we do, Loyce, with our website is provide a lot of information for people. People have, one of the things that we do at FieldHaven is we have what we call the CAT team, the Community Cat Assistance Team, where we will answer any question or help anybody with anything cat. Whether it's they've got a cat that has shown up on their doorstep, they've got, they need to rehome their cat. We can't take in all the cats that people want us to or rescue them all, but we can help people help themselves. And our website has a lot of fabulous information about that on it, and that is how we reach out to people and keep the lines of communication going. So yeah, we are in the technological age.
And also, I've never, let's see, first time to meet both of you, right? Surprise, we're on a blind date. It all works out. But we had a little funny story because as Joy and I were communicating, she said, well, I'm bringing Stella with me. And I thought, well, that's rather nervy. I already have another guest. And I said, well, Stella will have to sit over on the sofa. She would not be on the set because we already only have 3 microphones. So we got it worked out. So Stella is very peaceful there. But yes, we can't go backwards. We are in the tech age, and so if you're not good at it, you don't like it, just find someone that is good at it and will help you so you can go forward, because we're in challenging times. And I was an entrepreneur in 1990, had a store in Old Town, and I was hauling around bags of money. There was it was a different time. Of course, I got a big head and said, let's go out to Nevada City, and then I didn't have so much money because you don't want to go too far from home and have to go down 49, have a nervous breakdown. Long story. But it is very challenging nowadays. So email, networking, you can't tell enough people about what you're doing, whether it's with the, volunteering to help with the animals, getting them homes, or promoting your art. You've got to have other people working for you, because people will advertise for you when they like you. We can't see the furniture if it's in your garage, guys. So we're glad to have this here and help you help yourself. So we're talking about another subject, promotion, but we're also talking about what we like, and that is artful endeavors. So I'm going to see if we can hold these wonderful cards up here. And Nikki, these are to be purchased from your website. You have these on your website?
Correct. I will have a new website which will be launched in 2013, and that's when I'll have these cards up there.
Oh,
but currently
great.
people can purchase, they can email me, and I have about 24 different images of cards that are available for purchase.
And that's nice because people nowadays that, you know, they want to do portraits and sometimes they can't because they're in transition, they've lost a job, but they just want a little piece of art, and so it's nice that you can share that and have enough humility where you can say, well, I'm not above doing cards, and that's great because so you've gone from the sublime to the you know, subtle, and that's really great. So let's realize that at ACTV here, people are tuning in. You know, we never know what time they're going to tune in, so they might be just dialing in now, and they're looking at the set, and they heard something about the Raining Cats and Dogs program.
And that's the SPCA's annual event to, it's their black tie event, and that's where they have the live auction and silent auction, and I've done the work for them for 5 years, and I donate primarily to them. I got hooked up with them when I met my dog, Radar. So he's from the SPCA.
Oh, good for you.
And so I also do work, though, with other nonprofits. I haven't done anything with FieldHaven yet.
I need to change that.
And,
golden opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's what's great about ACTV is we're always making new connections here and networking, and you know, hopefully you'll come back and share. And then the Snap program. Why don't you share that again?
Well, the Spay Neuter Assistance Program is FieldHaven's Spay Neuter program. It's pretty self-explanatory. We concentrate primarily on Lincoln, but it is open to anybody in Placer County. We call it a low and no cost. It really is. If people, we will pay for the spay and neuter, but we do ask for donations if people are able to. So it helps us to refund that fund and keep it going. We do the spays and neuters at a clinic here in Auburn, the Auburn Spay and Neuter Clinic, so they're very low cost. And we even provide transport services if people need it. So we will lend out traps and cages if people need to trap feral cats, and we give them all kinds of advice. So we're really an organization that helps to hold people's hands through the process of ensuring that the cats in their community, in their area, are spayed and neutered and cared for properly. We train people how to take care of feral colonies if that's something that they want to do. We've been doing the SNAP program since 2005, I believe, and we have spayed and neutered well over 2,500 cats in primarily, and probably 70% of them in the Lincoln area. So we're super proud of it. But I also want to talk a little bit about the fundraiser and art too. We have a fundraiser every year called Classics, Cats, and Cabernet. It just was in June, but that's our signature fundraiser. And talking about art, Nikki, I think you would love to visit our shelter, because our shelter, when we built it last year, what we did was we had rooms, community rooms for the cats sponsored, and then we had artists donate their time to decorate the rooms. And so each room is a reflection through an artist of the sponsors, you know, their cats, their animals. Sometimes it's horses. Mine has horses in it. And we have a lot of opportunities for artists in the shelter to do some work and display work too.
Well, that's great.
So we'd love to have you come visit.
Yes, that would be great.
2 new friends.
Yes.
Okay, what medium is this?
Well, this is reproduction, and so is this one. But most of my paintings are done with oils on canvas.
Wow.
I'm experimenting with acrylics, which is what Mizzano is. But I love painting with oils. I understand them the best.
Now, I picture you in a studio, just lost and going for hours, perhaps, just
time flies.
in your world.
Yeah.
Yes.
If somebody asks me how long a portrait takes, I might say, oh, a couple hours. But really, it's 2 to 3 weeks or 3 to 4 months, depending on the size and the complexity. And I do lose track of time quite
What
easily.
if somebody asks you to do a picture of themselves with a dog or a pet?
Well, my most recent commission that I completed was actually of a woman and her horse. And it was this beautiful picture. I worked from a photograph, and it had the back of her hair, and she has this beautiful, curly, flowing, auburny brown hair. And then the horse, I'm not sure, I think it was I forget the type of horse it was, but it had browns and whites, and it was a beautiful picture, the two of them together.
So if the public wants to, again, connect with you regarding your art, then they would meet with you in Sacramento?
Correct. We would set up a time to meet. They would email me or call me, and we would set up a time to either meet in Sacramento, or sometimes I drive out here to Auburn and Roseville areas, and go over photos and talk about sizes and
But since you have that fabulous website, if somebody is unable to leave their home, they could do a mailing?
A lot of people just send me an email and say, I want to sign up for a 24 by 24 inch portrait. What would the cost be? Or they see the cost, it's on my website, and we go from there. I put them in my queue, a deposit reserves their spot in line, and then when I'm ready to start the portrait, I let them know, and then that's when we really kind of go over the photos and the story so that everything is fresh in my mind, and I use that inspiration to do their portrait.
Now, talking along the lines of promotion, you have a newsletter.
I have had
Did
a
I see
newsletter
that?
here and there.
Okay. Another good thing to do.
I'm working on building a staff right now so that I can get some assistance with all these things.
Now, do you, does FieldHaven have any type of,
We have 3 times a year we do a print newsletter. I brought some samples, and we have one that's about ready to go out in the mail in a couple weeks. And we also have an e-newsletter that we do monthly. So we have different types. We found, a lot of people say, why do you have print newsletters these days when everything can be electronic? We have found, as have other nonprofits, that people still like the print. They like to get something in their hands, and that's where most of our donations, I can tell as soon as the newsletters hit people's mailboxes, the donation envelopes start to come in. Nice. And so that is a way for us. It's basically a direct mail way. We send out great stories. We like to try and keep our stories all happy and our positives, but we do need funds to keep doing what we do. So there's always that appeal. So yes, we do have our newsletters, and we also do an annual report that summarizes everything we've done in the last year to really keep our donors really in the know of what's going on and how we're using their donations.
One of the greatest things about living in Auburn, and there are many, is that we have so many volunteers here, and we have so many service clubs, and so people are always doing cleanup and helping out and fundraisers, and just churches are always, we have like 8 or 9 thrift stores, so it's just, a wonderful community with all these people that, are unsung heroes. So tell us a little bit about your volunteer staff.
Our volunteers, thank you for bringing that up, because our volunteers are the backbone of our organization. There are 4 staff members at FieldHaven, and then everybody else is volunteers, including myself, that really run the organization. We have a fabulous board who are all volunteers. We have over 100 volunteers, and they are there every day, all day long. They do everything from, of course, scooping litter pans to helping to do our newsletters. And we couldn't do it without them. And you mentioned a thrift store, Loyce. One of the things that we would love to do at FieldHaven is to open a thrift store. We've been sort of tossing the idea around, but we need to find the volunteers that would want to do that. So if anybody is interested in helping to start a thrift store, contact us at FieldHaven, because that is a really great fundraiser. And we love our volunteers. We absolutely adore them. We couldn't do it without them.
Here's to the volunteers, to the people that get up in the morning.
Absolutely.
And don't have names, and they don't really do it because they want attention. They do it because they love animals.
They love it.
And we can't say enough about the good groupings here in Auburn. Let's also talk about the backbone of the agency or the group, and that is your board of directors. Without a great board of directors, you often falter. Do you have
Absolutely.
anything? How long have they been together? We
have, our board has been evolving since we started the organization, which was just a few of us would be on the board. I'm the president of the board, and we have 8 other board members. And we have board members from people that are, one of the board members owns several vet clinics. We've got people that work for the state. They're all different people that are retired, all different types of people that are, one of them is a political fundraiser, and you need a lot of variability, but the one common thing is that they have to really care passionately about what they're doing. Our board, we are a small organization, so our board is what we call a working board. They've got to be involved in the organization. We're not quite to that point yet in the size of our organization where we have a fundraising directive board, where the board members are just really doing fundraising and showing up for board meetings. Our board members are in the trenches and doing the work as well. But we work together very, very well, and I am so proud and so honored of the people that we do have on our board.
Now, you mentioned the ties with Auburn and the Spay. You might dial our viewers into what you were talking about as far as they do the spay and neuter here in Auburn.
Yes, the Auburn Spay Neuter Clinic is just without a doubt. We are so fortunate in Placer County to have. There's so many counties and areas that do not have access to low cost and spay and neuter. The Auburn Spay and Neuter Clinic is a nonprofit clinic. Their rates are just cut to the bone, and they will even assist with financing if you need help. You know, at times when they have grant funds available. They're open Monday through Thursday, and just an incredible organization. Like I said, we're so fortunate here in Placer County to have access to really quality, low-cost spay and neuter. It helps us stretch our spay neuter funds even much more.
Now, Nikki, I'm going to put you on the spot because when I go to a lot of these volunteer places in Auburn, I see mainly women. Now, we need to get the men more involved. How do we do that? Because men are good, you know, pushing around furniture and that sort of thing, but they don't like to really get involved?
Well, you know what? There's a lot of single women that volunteer at FieldHaven.
Hey, okay. So the men
of all ages, from early 20s on up to retired, a lot of great single women. So guys, come on out. And we do have several men volunteers,
good
but
for you.
By far the women do outnumber the men.
In Auburn I see predominantly women. I mean, sure there's men behind the scenes and they're helping to, when they have a big sale or whatever, they come in and you see the guys grunting, but then they're going, we're out of here. So
we could start a dating service.
There you go, Nikki. I'll put you in charge. I'll put Nikki in charge of that. You can paint something. Okay, so Nikki, before we complete our program here, we have a few more minutes. I'm going to let you talk just a bit again about that painting on the far right here.
Well, this
That's
painting
the famous one.
The title is Peace, Love, Pets. It was created for the SPCA's 2009 Raining Cats and Dogs Gala.
Cute.
I just currently started a reproduction series of it. It'll be an open edition, and each piece will be just like this as you see here, and it will be sold for $195, and it's being sold exclusively at the Empty Attic in Sacramento. I will have that information up on my website in case people are interested.
Love it.
Now, what's the Empty Attic?
The Empty Attic is it's an eclectic art gallery, antique furnishings. It's a new space in Sacramento that just opened up, and they're having their grand opening celebration on second Saturday, August 11th.
Well, let's network here and you send me that info because they might be really good guests on here, and animals and furniture and whimsical things, and we just love entrepreneurs again, so that's great. And then we'll let you share the fact that these fun pictures can also be found on your website.
Right, people can contact me if they're interested in purchasing cards. I also am selling them at a couple different pet supply stores in Sacramento, and I'm looking to find more vendors, or not vendors, but stores to carry them.
Great.
So that's a new venture.
And then you two will probably be networking, because I think that
we will.
Joy is going to not let this opportunity get by her. She's very enterprising. So Joy, we want to extend a special thanks to you for bringing in Stella.
Stella, who's just totally fallen asleep here.
Stella's gone night-night. May we inquire about her age?
Sure. Stella is about 1.5 years, and I'm going to make her get up here for a second so that you can all see that she's actually a Manx.
Okay.
So she has no tail, and she definitely has the Manx characteristics. She's very strong in the rear end and can jump very high, and loves to get up on things. But she's about 1.5 years, and she came to FieldHaven last year as a rescue from Placer County Animal Services. So we do work with the local county shelter to take animals, and they actually, what happened was I had an adopter for a Manx kitten, and so I said, I'm looking for a Manx kitten. They had one come in, they called me, I had her picked up, and I took one look at her and I said, I don't think this kitten's leaving.
Well, we are leaving because we've had a wonderful time here with Stella, Nikki, and Joy to all of us for our animal connections. How about that? Didn't have to cut you off. We are so done. How did you guys like it?